ever stood in front of a breathtaking landscape and thought, how do I capture more than just a view? How do I tell the story of actually being there? The truth is, you don't have to choose between landscapes and people. The magic really happens when you combine them. For many years, I photographed landscapes exclusively. I loved planning every detail of a trip. I would chase colors at sunrise and sunset, capture scenes during golden and blue hours, and stand in awe of the starry sky for the Milky Way or the Northern Lights, even in freezing temperatures. But then, life changed. When I became a mom, I no longer had the luxury of waiting at the scene in silence. My travel style shifted, and so did my photography. Instead of slow, deliberate landscapes, I had to adapt to a different pace of family travel, often not centered around landscape photography. My window for capturing a scene was sometimes no more than 5 minutes. Long hikes to the ideal vantage point were no longer realistic. If I could ever set up my tripod and grab a few frames before the sky colors faded, that already felt like a win. This photo from Nahuel and Huapi National Park in Patagonia, Argentina, was one of the rare exceptions. I waited in the snow for 45 minutes in the dark, just to see the moon set behind the mountain, while my husband stayed in the car with our then 4- and 2-year-old sons sleeping in the car. By the time we returned to our Airbnb, it was well after midnight. Was I happy with the photo? Yes. But as a mom, I also felt guilty. So I had to find a different way to photograph the places I loved. I began layering people into my landscapes. Not only did this keep my passion alive, it expanded it. My photo goals were no longer for the beautiful scenes, but for the story-filled experiences and connections. And that's what I want to share with you today. So let's talk about how you can combine landscapes and people for storytelling travel photos. Whether you're traveling solo, with friends, or even crossing paths with other travelers along the way. Tip number 1, use people for scale. Sometimes the landscape is the hero, but adding a person into the frame, even a tiny one, instantly gives your viewer a sense of scale and wonder. Take this image I recently captured in Hawaii. I photographed this lighthouse from different angles due to an industrial structure nearby. No matter if I add trees or rocks as foreground, the lighthouse appears small. Just as I was about to leave, someone walked into the scene. I quickly captured him standing next to the lighthouse, and suddenly the shot had scale and story. Look at these examples. My family moving through the vast mountain ranges of Olympic National Park, or my kids walking past a towering hoodoo in Cappadocia. It's no longer just a photo of a place. It's the experience of being there. And here's the best part. You don't need to travel with someone to do this. Observe the people already in the scene, like these random kayakers I noticed in the waves along Hawaii's North Shore. Now, compare this photo with another one without the people. See how the story changes instantly. One photo shows the beautiful place, the other tells a story of being small in the middle of something grand. Tip number 2, connect the person with the landscape. Other times, it's the connection that carries the story. Maybe it's a friend pausing in awe at the Tibetan mountains. Or it's someone sitting on the rock ledge soaking in the sunset view in Marseille, France. If you're traveling solo, it could be you stepping into the frame and letting the landscape frame your journey. In these moments, you highlight emotion, curiosity, and human presence. And here's the key. The person doesn't even need to be in focus or show face. By blurring them in the foreground, while they gaze at the scene, you invite your viewers to step into their shoes, to explore the beautiful landscape and adventure through their perspective. When you start using this approach, your travel photography becomes so much more dynamic and engaging. And this is why I always say photography isn't about collecting random tips. It's about building skills that work together. Inside my Document Happiness photography course, I guide serious photo hobbyists layer these skills with a simple yet systematic approach plus intentional practice. That way, you can experience clarity, confidence, and true transformation fast. You'll find the link in the description. Tip number 3, use people to balance the composition. Not every landscape has a dynamic mountain or striking landmark to anchor your frame. Sometimes the scene feels a little empty, like a lone island surrounded by nothing but ocean, or a beach with palm trees stretching across the sky. Beautiful, yes, but not as naturally complete as a mountain peak filling the frame. That's when adding people can make a real difference. By placing someone in the frame, you add counterweight to the scene and create a natural sense of balance. Take the Long Island, for example. If you don't have a tripod to use the ocean waves for balance, you can place a person in the foreground to fill the frame. Or think about the beach with rows of palm trees. Adding people into the lower part of the image gives the composition balanced weight. Without these human elements, the scene risks feeling unfinished. With it, your viewer's eyes has somewhere to land, and the whole photo feels more intentional. The key here is subtlety. Like I shared in tip number 1, the person doesn't need to dominate the frame. In this case, the purpose isn't scale, it's balance. So when you're out shooting, don't just look at the grand subject of the location. Pay attention to the empty spaces too, and think about how a person can bring harmony to the scene. Tip number 4, rethink the classic travel portrait. Of course, sometimes you want the classic photo, a family picture in front of a landmark, or a portrait to remember a once-in-a-lifetime travel adventure. These shots are part of the travel experience, and there's nothing wrong with them. Instead of stiff posed portraits, try capturing people candidly in the scene. Maybe it's your family hiking the sweeping mountain ranges. Maybe it's your kids walking in the iconic landmark backdrop. If you're traveling solo, it might even be a self-portrait where you're pausing naturally, not staring into the lens. This approach blends people and landscape in a way that feels alive. You're no longer just recording "we were here." You're documenting the experience of being there. And that's the essence of candid, documentary-style photography. It's authentic, it's memorable, and it tells a story that lasts far beyond the trip. And better, perfectly blends landscape with people in a single shot. No tripod, no complicated setups. So whether you're using people for scale, capturing connection, balancing your frame, or making portraits feel natural, what you're really doing is telling a fuller story of place and presence. Because at the end of the day, photography isn't just about landscapes or people. It's about how the two interact, how we, as travelers, experience the world. You might not be traveling with kids like me. Maybe you're solo, maybe you're empty nesters, maybe you're still chasing landscapes with the same patience I once had. But at some point, our circumstances change. And if you want to keep your passion alive, learning to layer new skills over old ones keeps you growing, both as a photographer and as a person. That's why bringing people into your landscapes isn't just a technique, it's a mindset shift. It's how you keep your photography evolving, meaningful, and connected to life itself. So the next time you're out with your camera, I encourage you to look beyond just the scene. Ask yourself, how can I bring a sense of story, scale, or connection? Can I layer people into this landscape so it becomes more than pretty view, but a memory that lasts? This is the kind of intentional practice I guide you through inside my Document Happiness photography course. It's designed for serious photo hobbyists who don't just want random tips, but a simple, systematic approach that ties everything together: light, settings, focus, composition, and story. And here's the best part: you don't need years to see results. My course is intentionally concise, so you can practice with purpose, build confidence, and start creating stunning photos of your travel and life moments in days or weeks, not months or years. If that sounds like the kind of growth you're looking for, you'll find the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and keep documenting what makes you feel alive.